She'll serve her sentence and get free and be walking the streets of society. I will be watching and being very careful when and if that doesn't happen, because I feel like that there is potential for Cammie coming after me. If my sister were to come after me in revenge, I would not hesitate in pulling a trigger against her. This is me and my middle sister, Cammie. There was exactly 3 years between us. The bond was developed very early on because I adored her. She loved to get in the bed with me and us have a playtime. I would make her giggle. I would tickle her belly. It was a wonderful time in my life, and I hope in hers, maybe it's not remembered, but it's still in there somewhere. We grew up in Marion, North Carolina. I'm the oldest of 3 daughters. As Cammie got older, she would come to my bed when she had a nightmare, and I'd snuggle her up.
What's wrong? You have a bad dream?
I can remember lots of times reading to her.
Once upon a time.
And I can remember her looking up at me as I read to her. Certain things kind of stick in your head. That does, that sticks. That little smile. Because it was just so sweet. I wish you could see it in my head. She had the cutest little smile. Probably around the age of 6, I started seeing a behavioral change in my sister. She enjoyed seeing me upset. Growing up, it was very important to me to have things precise and orderly. I don't want to say I had OCD, but I just liked order. I remember one time in particular where I got very upset with Cammie for holding her elbows out after she washed her face, because water would roll down her arms and get all over the sink and floor. And I snapped at her.
Cammie! Why are you always making a mess?
If you made her upset, then she got revenge. She went into our bedroom, took all of our drawers, and dumped them in the middle of the room. I walk into the room and I see the bedspreads and top sheets and pillows thrown into the middle of the floor.
Cammie, why would you do this?
I was so angry in seeing that. I would say, Cammie, clean up that room. Well, she wouldn't. And she would laugh. She was actually being very entertained at me being angry.
Well, don't just stand there. Help me.
I think that the laughing when seeing me so upset was even worse than the actual deed of the destruction. Her intentions were to deliberately antagonize me. Cammie took pleasure in eliciting responses. She loved to see me cry. In early teens, I became overweight and I was very self-conscious. And if she caught me standing in front of a mirror, she would attack that Achilles heel that caused me great distress. I was one day looking in the mirror and she came in the room and started laughing and going, just look at you. Look at you. Look how fat you are. It was awful. And she just kept on and on with it. And I think that did probably reduce me to tears.
You're looking a little chunky.
How could she say that to me? I would never say that to her. It was joyous cruelty. She knew what she was doing. She knew she was hurting me. And she was being entertained by that.
God, you're disgusting.
She enjoyed doing that on a regular basis. She had a distorted viewpoint of me her whole life. And she enjoyed seeing me cry. Mostly it was a rivalry with me, and I don't think that there was hardly that much between Cammie and Sharon as there was between Cammie and myself. Once I shared a secret with my sister Cammie, and she ended up using it against me. I could not go on a date until I was 16, which I thought was a little bit strict. So one time I kissed a guy and I felt real badly about it. I shared it with Cammie.
I leaned in and I kissed him. You kissed him?
And she was very, very sweet and very, very loving at first.
Did you like it? Of course.
She responded with, "Oh, Cindy, don't worry about that. That's not that bad." She was comforting.
But seriously, you can't tell anyone. I promise. I won't tell anyone. Okay.
I realize now. She would think through, how can I hurt Cindy the worst? All of a sudden she thinks, oh, I have leverage. I can use this. And of course, that's exactly what ended up. 2 days after the incident, she started blackmailing me with my mom. Mom would divide cookies or a candy bar, and I would not give her my share.
Give me them. I'm not giving you my cookies.
And she threatened to blackmail me by using the secret that I had told her.
No, you promised.
She would immediately start calling for Mom.
Fine. Have your way. Mom! Wait!
I would say, wait, come back. Here, you can have this.
Here.
Because I didn't want that to happen.
Thank you.
Cammie blackmailed me for several months. A normal person would not do that to another person. But she doesn't care about getting along. She doesn't care about friendships. It became a miserable way to live. And finally, one day, I had had enough. I went and I said, Mom, can I talk to you about something? And I told my mom myself.
I have something to tell you.
Once I told my mother the secret, I felt so free. The load was gone. That one incident changed the landscape of our relationship for the rest of our life. Because I never could trust her fully again. This is a picture of my baby sister Sharon and Cami and myself. I was 14 and Cami was 11. I desperately wanted to have a close relationship with Cami. But our relationship was very strained. Very seldom do I remember her being sweet and nice. I didn't recognize that the abnormal behavior would last for a lifetime. I didn't know that. As time went on, we noticed that Cami became more and more obsessed with revenge. And as she grew older, around 8 years old, she started using weapons. One day we were on the school bus coming home, and I was teasing her about a particular boy that liked her. We got home, and then it started.
Come on, Cami. I was only joking.
She just decided that she was going to go get a kitchen paring knife. I heard the drawer open, and I was standing in the living room.
What are you doing?
And totally unexpecting that she would throw a knife at me. She just took it by the knife part and threw it. And it lodged in my wrist.
What is wrong with you?
It was like very, very bloody. I was trying to stop the bleeding.
You could have killed me.
She walked by like, that's what you get. That serves you right. Did not say, oh, I'm sorry. Just walked on by and went on her merry way. There was no remorse, but I think satisfaction. I really think satisfaction. When I told Mom and Dad that, she got 25 licks with a belt. But sometimes after a spanking, Cami would laugh just to show that it didn't and wouldn't affect her. She would act like nothing happened. No one or not anything could affect that resolve that she would be in control. It was frightening living with Cami because I never knew what would set her off. One time we got into a huge fight as sisters, and she demanded that my sister and I leave the premises to get out of the room.
Get out!
And we refused to do that.
No, if you don't like it, why don't you leave?
She went into my parents' bedroom, and she got a rifle, a hunting rifle. She coming through their door, pointing at us and demanding that we get out of the house.
I said get out!
Just calm, cool, and collected. Just y'all get out, or I'm gonna shoot you. Of course we're thinking that she's teasing, but we're not taking any chances, right?
I mean it.
I can remember trying to get Sharon out of the house. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And she then locks us out. And we stay out until Mom and Dad get home. They didn't know what to do. My mother took Cammie to our pediatrician, and she asked him what she could do to get Cammie help. And he reprimanded her verbally and just said, she's a middle child. She needs extra attention. She needs extra love. Just love her and give her special attention. Absolutely the wrong advice from that pediatrician. I don't think they knew what to do with her when she was little. You could not reason with Cammie. It wasn't that I hated her. You just don't want to have a relationship anymore. And there was times when we were teenagers that were good. Cammie was 21 or 22 when she got married. I was 24 when I got married. We were close then. Well, close enough to the only time that we really saw one another was like Mother's Day, Easter, was just your normal, see you later, hello, how are you, kind of thing. Well, we were on our way to my niece's 3rd birthday, which is Sharon's daughter. And I had Cammie with me and 2 of my sons. And Cammie was saying cruel things about my nephew.
I can't stand it.
Cammie, please, not in front of the boys. It's their cousin.
It was aggravating me, and I'd ask her to stop several times.
He's so spoiled. Of course he'd turn out like this.
After she kept on, I said, well, if you don't stop now, I'm pulling off, and you will get out of my vehicle.
Shut up. You don't tell me what to do.
She turned around in the passenger seat and started kicking with every ounce of her strength in her leg.
Stop it! Are you trying to kill us?
She'd kick me in my face, and on my arm, my ribs. I mean, here we are on an interstate. Here we have our children with us. She did not care. Cammie was acting with reckless abandon because the need to control and get revenge was greater than survival at that point in time.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Wait.
I pulled off and I made her get out of my car. I felt badly by leaving my sister on the side of the interstate, but that was overridden by the thought of keeping the occupants of that vehicle safe. I did the right thing. She could have killed us. All right, this is my sister, my dear brother-in-law, Terry, and they are in France, maybe on their honeymoon. After the divorce from her first husband, Cammie met Terry at the Department of Revenue in Raleigh, where she worked as well. Their relationship mostly was volatile, but there were times like this where you could sense some fun loving. It's wonderful to see them like that. She looks genuinely happy. I know how much he loved her. I'm not sure the other way around. When Kimmy married Terry, she knew he had a kidney condition. And she commented once that the only reason that she married him was because he had a kidney disorder and that she didn't feel like that he would live that long.
I really like him.
Yeah. We'll see how long it lasts.
And that he would have good insurance. I cannot remember exactly my response, but I do know that I would reprimand her.
If I'm lucky, he won't last long.
It's not right. It's insanity. That's evil.
That's a terrible thing to say.
I'm surprised that it slipped out. I don't think that she intended necessarily to reveal that. Maybe she did. Maybe she liked the shock factor. It was a very Kimmy-like thing to do. When Kimmy and Terry divorced, there was a terrible custody battle for the children. Terry and I started talking about it. Terry thought that Kimmy had broken into his apartment because little things would be altered. He noticed that his underclothes drawer had been tampered with, and his medicine cabinet had been tampered with. He needed medication daily. Was she actually trying to kill him then? I don't know. I believe that Kimmy was always trying to send messages to everyone in her life. We're seeing a progression of that sinister behavior, that darkness. After Kimmy lost custody, her behavior became even more erratic. He'd leave to take the children to school in the morning, and she'd follow him. And she had a wig on. That's when he first realized that she was stalking him, watching, always watching. When Kimmy lost the children and Terry became their full guardian, she blamed me and said that I had paid off the judges and paid for his lawyers. Of course, that wasn't the truth at all, but that was what she believed. Kimmy had a seething rage that was directed toward me because she thought that I was directly responsible for her losing her children. She never openly threatened, but there were several times that Kimmy had called me, making reference to things she wouldn't have known about unless she had been stalking me.
You're not scaring me. Stop calling here.
And sometimes at night, I would get this eerie feeling or sensation that someone was watching me. I immediately shut all blinds and locked all doors. It's like that almost panic. Do it now. I felt like she could come into my home and hurt me while I was sleeping, while I was watching TV. I felt like my life was in jeopardy. I feel like court issues and losing her children really put Kimmy over an edge. One day I got a call from the detective in the city that she lived in, stating that a report was filed against me because I was poisoning her food
She did it again.
I would get a call once a month at least with them saying that she was reporting a crime, that I had been in her house and had poisoned her food. And the next time it would be the water.
You know this is ridiculous, right?
She really believed that I hated her that much. As a matter of fact, once she called me, she was crying almost uncontrollably. And she said, "What have I ever done to make you hate me like you do?" That was tough. That was so tough to hear. Anyway, she believed it and still does. I was home with my family one day for my birthday. Cammie comes in my house and brings me a birthday cake. And I said, "What in the world is that?"
Cammie?
And she's got this solemn look on her face, and she said, "It's a birthday cake."
I baked you a cake.
I said, "Do you literally think that I would eat that after all you've accused me of?"
Why not?
I thought that there was a possibility Cammie poisoned the cake that she brought me. I told her to take the cake back.
Don't you think things are going too far?
And I said, "Why can we not be friends? Why does it have to be this way?" And she said, "I did not take your children away from you."
You.
I
Help them.
had
Take
nothing to do with it!
At that point in time, I lost all manner of control, and I literally attacked her.
Something wrong with you.
I had just had it with her shenanigans toward me for years. I kept shaking her and saying, "You need to take medication." And then my husband, David, came and he said, "Cammie, you need to leave."
You gotta go. You gotta go now.
She would listen to him more so than she would me, so she left. But I wouldn't have put it past her to come back for revenge. She thought that I was out to destroy her. I have no clue why. Our last Christmas together, she wasn't invited because she had a restraining order. And she wasn't supposed to be near the kids.
Merry Christmas.
And she came.
What are you doing here?
No, you're not supposed to be here.
I was watching her hands in her coat pocket. I was afraid of a gun. I didn't trust her. The children went to the basement with Terry. I took her aside and I told her that she wasn't supposed to be there. And I told her to leave. And she got a little smirky look on her face. I was obsessed with watching her hands in her pockets.
It's Christmas.
I do think that she was deeply, deeply hurt. Having Christmas, which was the grandest of all holidays in my family, and for her not to be able to be invited. I feel like she was deeply wounded and hurt. And I'm sorry. I was starting to be fearful for Terry and myself. His life could be in trouble. One day, I had ice cream with Terry, and I said, "Can I talk to you about something?" And he said, "Sure, sis, what's on your mind?" I'll never forget that.
I feel like she's up to something.
I said, "Terry, you know both of us are in danger of being killed. Cammie could come after us, either one of us." And he said, yes, sis, I know that. I said, well, what are you doing about it? Are you doing anything? He goes, well, I'm working on some things. That conversation was 1 month before it actually happened. On March 24th, 2006, I was at home and I got a call.
Hello?
It was the detective. And he said, I need to tell you, your sister has shot your brother-in-law.
She shot him?
I went totally out of kilter with that call and just started screaming.
No.
I just kept saying, oh no, oh no, oh no. I said, can you tell me what happened? Terry and Cammie met in the park that day. She convinced Terry, even though it was disallowed, to meet her for pizza in order to see the children. They met, and she said, can I talk to you for a minute? And he said, yes. And Cammie shot Terry in the stomach.
Were the kids were there?
I am believing he thought she would never do this in front of her children.
Oh, no.
She went back to be with the children, telling them that everything was going to be okay, that Daddy was going to be fine. The children were 8 years old and 6 years old. I felt pity for the children. It's almost like in your own ears you can hear the shot ringing out. I can almost see them as they saw their father fall. I don't think that Cammie meant to kill him. She was planning on scaring him into submission.
No.
This is a picture of my precious, precious brother-in-law and his children. Just a beautiful family, totally destroyed by the decisions of one person. I was much closer to Terry than ever I was to Cammie. When Cammie shot Terry and he died, I was devastated with the news that he was gone. Every time somebody that we really love leaves the earth, a piece of us goes with them. I'm not doing real well. Terry survived the initial shooting. He was the one that called 911, and immediately the police were there, and she was arrested. She was taken immediately to Wake County Jail. And even though I really was still angry with her, I visited her in jail. And I walk in, of course, she's behind the glass, and she has the most horrible look on her face. Between anger and devastation. It's almost a spiritual darkness. And I say, Cammie, what in the world is the matter?
Why did you do this?
And once again, I heard the words, I did not have your children taken away from you.
But you helped them take mine.
So at that point, I told her that the next time that I saw her, hopefully would be in the next life. And she immediately laughed and said, if you're talking about heaven, you're not going to be there.
I can't do this anymore.
I told her that I would not be visiting her again ever, as long as I lived. I hung up the phone and I just walked out. That was in 2008. I never went back to see her. Cammie was charged with second-degree murder. I can remember one attorney that met with my family, and he said, she will be doing very well if she escapes the electric chair. I didn't feel like that was enough. I mean, we're talking about murder here. I was hoping for life. I think that it would have been a blessing if it had been the death penalty. And I say that with full love in my heart for her best interest, because I'm not sure what kind of life that she has ahead of her. She'll serve her sentence and get free and be walking the streets of society. And shortly. I feel like that there is potential for Cammie coming after me. I'm not scared for Cammie to be released from prison because I'm prepared. As soon as she's released, I will get a restraining order. But I also got concealed carry, and I will carry if that day happens, all the time. I think this is when she was in jail. She just looks so sad. I'm sorry for the pain that she's brought to people's lives. That this picture makes me want to hold her. I wish I could make things okay for her. I wish I could make her mind well and reverse people's hurts for her children, for Terry. It's pretty devastating. I wish I had the ability to reconstruct her life and make different decisions for her that would turn out to be happy. I want her to be happy. Yes, I do love her very much. Even with all the pain that she's brought myself and other people, I still love her very, very much. It's an unconditional love. I wish you could have believed I never meant any harm for you. Someday you'll know truth. Someday you'll know truth.
(1961), Roswell, New Mexico. 19-year-old Anna Schultz had met and married 27-year-old James Goodyear. Anna was a nurse at Eastern New Mexico Medical Center. After they married, Anna changed her name to Judy Goodyear, and James adopted her 2-year-old son, Michael.
She developed a really good knowledge of medicine and of drugs. She became an expert in her field, and she was able to use this to manipulate those around her. And I think she found medicine quite an appealing field to go into, because it's about science. It's about things that are right, things that are wrong. It's very black and white. It's very predictable.
10 years later, a fit and healthy James became mysteriously ill and died at the age of 37.
You wouldn't immediately say, oh, he's been poisoned. You'd say it was natural causes, tragedy, unexpected, but these things happen. But the thing about Judy Goodyear, as she was then calling herself, is that, of course, she'd taken out a number of life insurance policies on James Goodyear. It was to become her modus operandi.
After the death of James, she reinvented herself once more, taking her new partner Bobby Joe's surname and becoming Judy Morris. He too would soon be dead.
Bobby Joe was eventually buried, even though Judy had requested he be cremated. Bobby Joe's mother insisted that the body be brought back home to Alabama, where he could be buried at home.
No man was safe, not even her own flesh and blood.
Could you imagine throwing your own son over the side of a boat and watching him drown? I mean, how twisted you have to be to do that and live with yourself is just incredible.
She finally became Judy Buenoano and thought she was invincible.
I think she began to believe in her superiority, that she can actually get away with this. And that's why the plans always got a little more complex. The insurance was always a little bit more, building for that $500,000 policy with John Gentry. She let her ego get the better of her. I think she had been really smart, brilliant, cold-blooded killer with the other ones because she never really went for the big prize.
This killer's story begins on April 4th, 1943. Judy Buenoano was born Judaias Anna Lou Welty in the city of Quanah, Texas.
Her father was a farm worker, and this family had a lot of misfortune fall on it. When she was 2, her mother passed away from tuberculosis. There were 2 remaining siblings, Judy and her brother Robert. Now, her father sent them out to be adopted. So this is a real rejection. It's a real abandonment. And they're living with another family for a while until their grandmother looks after them.
Her father remarried and moved to Roswell, New Mexico with his new wife and her 2 children, and reclaimed Judy and Robert from the grandmother.
This certainly wasn't a return to a nice, secure, stable family environment. This was out of the frying pan into the fire. This was a household in which abuse and neglect were very much entrenched, and Judy and her brother suffered the most horrendous abuse at the hands of her father and stepmother.
Judy was treated as a slave and forced to carry out the household chores.
She was told that she had to do the cleaning, and if she didn't do it particularly in the way that her father wanted it done, she'd be forced to sit and watch the rest of the family eat their dinner while she went without. And they'd also started beating up Robert, her brother, at this point in time. And she steps in to defend him. She really attacks her stepmother and her father. And she ends up serving 60 days in a jail facility for this attack on her parents.
At the end of the 60 days, she doesn't ask to return to her father and stepmother. On the contrary, she says, no, I don't want to go home, not at all. I also don't want to see my younger brother, Robert. She said memorably at one point, I wouldn't spit down his throat if his guts were on fire.
In 1959, at the age of 16, Judy graduated from Foothills High School in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
she decides that she will manipulate the system in every way she possibly can to her advantage. She feels she's been badly let down by her father, by her mother dying, by the fact of her childhood, by her stepmother, all the rest of it wells up inside her, in which she becomes convinced that she's going to get her own back.
Judy moved to Roswell to study at Eastern New Mexico Medical Center and met a man called Schultz. She assumed his surname and became known as Anna Schultz.
Judy goes to nursing school and she is a high achiever there. She achieves a PhD in biology, in psychology. Many people will take years and years to achieve a PhD, to achieve this kind of position in a hospital, but she seemed to do it relatively quickly because she didn't really have any distractions. This was all about her.
At the age of 17, Judy, now known as Anna Schultz, became pregnant, and on the 30th of March 1961 gave birth to a boy, Michael Arthur Schultz.
Judy had a child out of wedlock. At the time, it would have been a difficult situation to find herself in, a single mother trying to raise a child on her own. Judy seemed like a very normal person. She wanted to raise her son well and provide for him. She just seemed like everybody else.
Shortly after the birth of her son, Anna Schultz met James Goodyear, a United States Air Force mechanic.
10 years older than she is. In every sense, an upright, sound individual. And before too long, she becomes Judy Goodyear. They marry.
James Goodyear adopted Judy's son Michael, and on the 16th of January 1966, Judy gave birth to their son, also called James.
Judy and James had a very nice marriage for a while. They got along well, they traveled, they went out to dinner, they did normal family things.
In 1967, the Goodyear family moved to Orlando, Florida, and soon after their daughter Kimberly was born. Judy wanted to protect her family and made sure they were fully insured to cover any unforeseen events.
They got along well for a time, but then they started fighting. And it wasn't long after that that James had to go to Vietnam. During this time, it was very stressful for Judy because now she's raising 3 children on her own. After about a year, James came back from Vietnam, and Judy and he really tried to make a go of things. They tried to put all the fighting behind them and rekindle their marriage and provide for the 3 children.
And when she later talks about her relationship with James, she describes it as, we were best friends. She doesn't talk about love. She doesn't talk about attachment or affection. She talks about him as a friend. And that is really interesting for me.
It's almost incredible. She decides that she's going to poison her husband very carefully over a longish period of time, so that no one will notice that, in fact, he's been poisoned. So over a period of months, she feeds James Goodyear a concoction of pills, including paraformaldehyde, to effectively obstruct his system.
After a few months, he started to become violently ill. He was having hallucinations and convulsions. He felt really terrible. He was just in really, really bad shape. Judy said that she knew how to take care of him, but things just kept getting worse.
On September 16th, 1971, at the age of 37, James Goodyear died at the U.S. Naval Hospital in Orlando, Florida.
James's death was just a mystery. Here he was, young and fit, having just come out of the military. It really just mystified everyone.
Judy puts a spin on it. She says, I'm sure it's because of a chemical element that they were using on the military in Vietnam. Surely it's something to do with that. So she's got this narrative that she's prepared in order to actually explain his death. But when we kind of zoom out and we look at the bigger picture, Judy and James have been together for around about a decade at this point. So you'd think, well, why would she kill him now? Why now?
For Judy Goodyear, her husband James was worth more to her dead than alive. September 20th, 1971, Orlando, Florida. 5 days after her husband's death, Judy Goodyear surrendered 3 life insurance policies on James Goodyear.
And then, just to add a little piquancy, she sets fire to the house in Orlando and claims the insurance policy on that. You have a woman whose greed knows few bounds. But of course, she always plans an escape route.
In 1972, Judy moved with her 3 children from Orlando to Pensacola, Florida, to live with a new man in her life, Bobby Joe Morris.
She meets him in the same year that James Goodyear is murdered. And this perhaps suggests to me there may have been a little bit of an overlap here. She may have had her sights set on this guy before she killed her first husband. So there is no such thing as coincidence when it comes to serial killers. So perhaps there was a plan rolling out in the background here.
Bobby Joe and Judy had a really fun time together. They traveled, they had nice dinners out. They were a couple that seemed to really hit it off. But then things started to deteriorate, and Bobby Joe decided he didn't want to be with Judy anymore, and he moved out to Colorado, leaving her behind in Florida. After Bobby Joe went to Colorado, Judy followed, and Bobby Joe couldn't say no to Judy. They reconciled, and they began trying to repair their relationship and live happily together.
In July 1977, before Judy and her children joined Bobby Joe in Colorado, another mysterious fire engulfed their Pensacola home. Judy claimed the insurance money.
So they're up there, and she's going by the name of Morse, they figure they lived together for long enough that she gave the last name Morris. Nobody knew any difference. Of course, she was getting insurance policies all the time on Bobby Joe up there, which he never saw.
It wasn't long before Bobby Joe started to fall ill.
He was a heavy drinker, so no one's going to suspect that his health is going bad. And that was very critical to her plan because obviously if very healthy people are just suddenly dying, that's going to cause more problems than if someone who has a history of seeming to be sickly, not in good health, drinking problem, you're not going to look as hard into that as to a possible, was there foul play involved?
He ended up in the hospital where Judy was working as a nurse's aide. So she took care of him and looked after him the entire time he was in the hospital. Bobby Joe was incredibly ill. He was hallucinating, he had all kinds of pain, and he just was mysteriously ill. Doctors are having a hard time figuring out what was wrong with Bobby Joe.
She puts it off, tells everybody that Bobby Joe is an alcoholic. And he drinks to excess. He drinks 2 bottles of vodka a day. He drinks a case of beer a day. He does all these things.
And the physicians at the hospital will be of the view, well, why would she lie about this? Here's somebody who knows what she's on about, who knows the patient. So she's filling in the details for us. And that is a position that she really abused, that position of power, that position of influence. She was basically saying, this guy's just a bit of a washed up old alcoholic and these things happen.
Bobby Joe got a little bit better for a short period of time, but then he got a lot worse. And he deteriorated in an agonizing way, and eventually he died.
Bobby Joe's mother wanted Bobby Joe to come home, and Judy says, no, we're going to cremate him. And Liddell, his mother said, no, you're not, you're going to send him home. So Bobby Joe did get sent home.
Judy didn't attend the funeral.
But she had, of course, insured his life, and once again collected a number of life insurance policies.
On May 3rd, 1978, the widow Judy Morris changed her family name to Bueno Ano, the Spanish equivalent of Goodyear.
This is her way of having a bit of a laugh. She's taking the name of the first person that she kills, and she's using that in one of her new identities. So I think this does show that real dark side of her sense of humour here. She's literally dangling a victim in front of everybody.
In June 1978, the newly named Bueno Ano family left Colorado. Judy bought a house in Gulf Breeze, Pensacola, Florida, and set up home with her 3 children.
Michael Bueno Ano Goodyear was Judy's son, and he was her first child, and he was a child that was born out of wedlock. So he would have created an awful lot of stigma for Judy.
Michael loved his mother, Judy, but she didn't care for him at all. She didn't like him. If people came over to the house when he was younger, where she was living, she would hide him in another room or have a babysitter take him out. She was ashamed of him.
And he was always doing things to try and get her attention, to try and make her proud, and it was a really sad situation.
In 1979, 18-year-old Michael Bueno Ano enlisted in the U.S. Army.
I think this is very much a way of trying to get his mother's approval, because of course his stepfather, James Goodyear, was a military man. So he knows that these are the kind of qualities in a man that his mother admires, or so he thinks.
And when Michael got into the Army, he went to this purification school, water purification. In water purification, they use arsenic.
He came home for Thanksgiving to be with the family and took ill, very ill. Because he was in the military, he was sent up to Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C., which is our, Army hospital, very renowned place. And they were treating him, and they saved his life, but he lost basically muscular control of his arms and legs. So he became essentially a paraplegic.
She was blaming the Army, where he was working, water purification school, that he got into the arsenic, and he probably ate some of it. So that's the way it went.
Because of his loss of mobility, he was not able to return to his career in the military. And for Michael, this was just very depressing. Here he is now, unable to pursue his career, unable to move. And he's a young man with the rest of his life in front of him. It was very, very sad.
Judy contacted the military and said they're going to have to honorably discharge him. And so if you would discharge him to me, we will retrofit our house to take care of him in his disabled condition.
Michael ended up wearing braces on his legs, he had robin wings, all the weights that Michael had on him so he could try and walk a little bit with canes and all this. It was a little over 50 pounds.
The military agreed to discharge Michael into his mother's care.
She drove down to Tampa, picked him up at the airport, drove back to Pensacola, and by that afternoon, they were out on a canoe trip.
Bueno Ano left her daughter Kimberly fishing on the riverbank and prepared the canoe for herself, James, and Michael.
And she puts him in the middle of a canoe with the weights on his legs, the weights on his arm, and he's sitting in a lawn chair, a small lawn chair, beach lawn chair. And she puts the lawn chair in the canoe and puts him on the lawn chair.
It was a beautiful day, and Judy wanted to treat her family to a nice time. So they canoed out onto this lake, and all of a sudden, something happened, and the canoe tipped over. And now both Michael and James are in the water. And Judy tried to hurry to get over to grab young James to save him, but she said she didn't have time to get to Michael, who drowned because of his heavy braces. He went right down to the bottom of the water.
Simply a natural tragedy. Who is going to suspect for a second that Judy might have organized the drowning?
The Army came and investigated it because Michael had been in the military, and they investigated it, and I believe she told them a snake had fallen into the canoe from an overhanging tree, and in the excitement, it capsized.
I mean, imagine that. You have deliberately tipped up a canoe in the middle of a river, knowing that your son cannot swim to the shore, whereas you can and your other son can. It is the most callous, dramatic, ugly way of killing anybody.
Judy Buenoano had got away with her third murder. For now. May 13th, 1980, Pensacola, Florida. 18-year-old Michael Buenoano had drowned in what appeared to be a tragic accident. But it wasn't long before his mother, Judy, cashed in.
The relentless nature of the killings, one on top of the other, of people to whom she should have been grateful, that makes it exceptional. There was no reason for these three people to lose their lives. And of course, Michael was insured by the military, as well as by Judy.
There had been about 6 insurance policies that she had taken out. These were kind of small policies, $15,000, $20,000 policies. There was one that was taken out when he was a child. Well, she had contacted the insurance company, and because it had lapsed, and so she reactivated the policy by paying some premiums. And so there was, I believe, about $120,000 in life insurance benefits that she received from that one. She had to believe that in her mind, no one is ever going to figure this out. I have totally fooled all these idiots. I mean, she must have had, contempt for the investigators because, I am telling you this stuff and you're believing everything I say.
Judy spent the money on vacations, cars, opening a beauty salon called Fingers and Faces, and basically just lived a really nice life.
In February 1981, 9 months after the death of her son, Judy Buenoano met 35-year-old Army veteran and local business owner John Gentry. John had 2 sons from a former marriage.
He was very tall. I think he was like 6'2" or 6'3", handsome, broad shoulders, easygoing, kind of person that when you met him, you knew to respect him. I'd never seen him get out of line or get angry or raise his voice. He was just that kind of person. When you looked at him, he commanded respect. I guess that's the best way to put it.
John's business specialized in carpet and flooring tiles.
He had a huge store in Pensacola. It was really successful. He had several people working under him. He looked really good in a uniform. And one time he told us that he was in Vietnam, so he would joke about it. And he was in Vietnam for 3 days because he stepped on a landmine and he was actually blown up in Vietnam. And of course, he recovered from that. The only injuries he sustained were he lost hearing in one ear and a bunch of scars.
And they seemed to have quite a good relationship. Judy really did like living the high life at this particular point in time. So they went on cruises, they ate out at expensive restaurants. She really liked it when he bought her expensive clothes. So this appears to be quite a successful relationship.
In August 1981, John moved into the house in Gulf Breeze to live with Buenoano and her 2 children.
The first time we met Judy, we were excited to meet her, obviously. He spoke a lot about her being beautiful, intelligent, well off. I liked her. She was nice. She took us to Disney. She was attractive. She had a great personality. Seemed like she was rich. She had a nice house. She had a boat, car, exclusive community. She was generous. Also, the house was very clean, nicely decorated. They were affectionate, but they weren't into like kissy-feely public show of affection kind of thing. I don't know what they were like when we were not around. But as far as a couple, they would sit together, hold hands, hug, kiss, but not constantly all over each other. But we were children, so maybe they were behaving.
Meanwhile, Judy had been spreading various rumors about Mr. Gentry to her friends that, he seems to be involved with some shady characters, maybe some organized crime connections, or, on the other hand, he has bad health. And he did appear to have bad health because Judy had been slipping him some capsules containing paraformaldehyde and arsenic. These weren't enough to kill him, but it was causing him to always feel sick all the time.
As far as I know, he knew there was an insurance policy on him, but he was under the impression that she had, for some reason or another, canceled the policy. But turns out that she didn't cancel the policy. It was still active, but my father was unaware that she still had the policy on him.
After less than 2 years together, 40-year-old Buenoano had some news for John.
Judy announced to him that she was pregnant. And so, then now they are going to get married. Well, unbeknownst to Mr. Gentry, Judy had previously had a tubal ligation and was not capable of getting pregnant, but he did not know that, so he thought, wow, great, I'm going to be a father.
On the 25th of June 1983, Judy had arranged a party because one of her members of staff was leaving. She had a whole range of beauty salons in the local area, and she'd arranged for this meal as a leaving do for one of her staff members at the restaurant. Now, she wanted John to go along to the restaurant to help set up the party.
She told him where to put his vehicle in a parking lot. She said, well, this is where you need to put your vehicle, right here. He said, okay. So he parked it right there in that lot where she said.
Buenoano arrived at the restaurant some time after John.
She's driving a brand new Corvette. She parks it 2 blocks away in front of this motel.
As the party wrapped up, Buenoano encouraged John to leave without her.
She walked him to the door and she told Gentry, she said, look, I'm going to stay here for a little while longer. What I want you to do is get a bottle of champagne and go on home and wait for me there and we'll celebrate, her having a baby and all this other stuff, she said.
John walks out to his car, gets in, starts the automobile, and kaboom, the whole thing explodes. Here's this car bomb in sleepy Pensacola, Florida. This is not an ordinary event.
When the thing explodes, Judy comes out of the restaurant and the people follow her and she sees the car blowed up. So she goes into having a fit and falls on the ground and pretends she's having a seizure.
Judy Buenoano had just made a fatal mistake. June 25, 1983, Pensacola, Florida. John Gentry had been catapulted out of his vehicle by a homemade bomb, primed to explode as he turned on his headlights.
He's blown out of the car. I always thought one of the great things in this explosion was his shoes remained on the floorboard of the car. He was literally blown out of his shoes. But he survives.
Of course, all the agencies was called. ATF was there, Pensacola PD was there and everything. And it was a real mess at the time. They did what they could because at that time of night, we really couldn't get too much. Mr. Gentry, he was sent to the hospital. The vehicle was eventually moved to the Pensacola PD and was put in a lot. And actually, the next morning is when everything really got started.
The fact that John survived must have really come as quite a shock to Judy and probably shook her deeply.
Judy has failed to kill her victim in this case, and I think she feels incredibly frustrated about this because the person that she's tried to murder has survived, and not only has he survived, he is now a piece of evidence. He has lots of information that he's able to share with the police.
I'm sure her world must have just been in a panic to find out that all the stories that she'd been telling about him, the lies about her being able to have children, that she was pregnant with his child, all that was going to come to roost like, well, what happened, to our child that's going to be born in, 6 or 7 months or whatever, because she was a great planner, and you just don't plan on somebody surviving a car bomb.
My uncle called us and explained what happened. We were in shock, and, he was in his recovery in the hospital. I mean, it's like something you hear out of a movie. I mean, put a bomb in his car. Who does that?
He had a lot of damage done to him. So we knew it would be another couple of days or a day or so before we could get to him. At the very beginning, she was telling us that Mr. Gentry was getting these notes that were threatening notes that were left on the windshield of his car. He was getting these phone calls and hang-ups and threatening them. And so we checked in all to that, and that turned out to be nothing. And then talking to her friends, before the car blew up, she told everybody that Gentry had cancer, and he was dying of cancer.
I think that Judy thought she was really smart. I don't think she believed that anybody would ever join up the dots. And she did quite a good job of wiping the slate clean as she moved from one life into the next one. So I think she honestly did feel like she was being reborn time and time again when she was building these new lives.
It's fair to say that if she had been able to contain herself, she might never, ever have faced justice. But greed overcame her. If she had not decided to blow up Gentry, it's entirely possible that the authorities would never have looked back at the killings of Bobby Joe Morris, at the killing of Michael, or the killing of James Goodyear. They were, to some extent, in the past, defined as accidents, tragic nevertheless, but still accidents. It was only her decision to blow up Gentry that was eventually to bring her to the attention of the authorities. Because Gentry, recovering from his injuries, starts to tell them about the pills, about the other things that have happened.
He said, I don't know. He said that Judy was giving me these pills, and it was a vitamin pill. And she said for me to take them every day, and it would help me out, and I'd feel a lot better. So I was taking these pills. He said, then I quit taking them. And after I quit taking them, I didn't get sick anymore. I was fine. And he said, then I took them again, and he said I got sick again. I said, where are they? And he said it was at his office. So we went down and picked up those capsules that we got from him. And we sent them off to the lab. And sure enough, what was happening, the Vicon C capsules, somebody had taken them apart and put paraformaldehyde inside them and put them back together again.
There's no question that Judy chose her poison very carefully. Paraformaldehyde causes deterioration of the organs, but doesn't do it quickly.
So when it came back, yes, paraformaldehyde, well, boom, that was class 3 poison. That hit us right off the bat. That was enough to go ahead and get our warrant. Because we could place Judy with the pills at her house for the search warrant. We've got Gentry saying she physically gave him the pills. He knows that. That was a big plus.
I think in the beginning, when John is finding out all of these details about what Judy has been doing, there's incredulity there. He can't believe this. You know, this is the woman that he's in an intimate relationship with. But I think as the evidence becomes more and more compelling, it does dawn on him that this woman meant him serious harm.
John was then informed that the life insurance policy he thought Buenoano had cancelled was still active.
And that's where this whole thing came unraveled, because she had her $500,000 insurance policy that she was going to cash in on. She had already booked a 180-day round-the-world cruise for her and her 2 kids, but not for John Gentry, her husband-to-be.
That completely blows open all of Judy's life, all of her previous offending, all of the times when she's killed other people before. And I think had that murder not failed, she could have gone on for quite some time afterwards. But I think she was getting quite close to being caught at this stage, because she was becoming quite careless. She was trying to mix things up. She was trying to be too clever, and that's what led to her downfall.
They began exhuming bodies. They exhumed James Goodyear's body. Lethal dose of arsenic in the system. She wanted to make sure that she did the job right with her husband, James Goodyear. And so the amount of arsenic in his system when he was examined after they exhumed the body was enough to kill 15 people.
We had investigators from Colorado come down to here. Bobby Joes was buried in a cemetery in Alabama, and we had that body exhumed. We did tests on him, and he had enough in him for about 10 people, to kill 10 people with arsenic.
They exhumed the body of Michael Goodyear. Find out that there's lethal doses of arsenic in his system. It was the arsenic poisoning that crippled him but did not kill him. And with that, they began mounting the cases.
On July 27, 1983, Judy Buenoano was arrested and charged with the attempted murder of her third partner, John Gentry. After being released on bail, she was arrested once more in January 1984, this time for grand theft and the murder of her son, Michael. Buenoano claimed to be innocent of all charges.
The trial on her son, the drowning, she was very vocal. She even took the stand. She really thought that she could get away with it. She really did. She really thought that she would be able to talk her way out of these things.
The jury didn't believe Buenoano's lies, and she was found guilty on all counts. She was sentenced to life without parole.
It was a standout case because it was almost unbelievable that a person could do this to their loved ones, particularly a child that she gave birth to. It's just unfathomable.
Later that same year, Buenoano found herself back on trial, charged with the attempted murder of John Gentry. On October the 18th, 1984, she was found guilty and sentenced to a further 12 years behind bars.
Maybe my father would have died, and maybe she would have married again and killed again. I mean, with the number of people that she killed, she was obviously didn't have a conscience and would probably have done it again.
Despite the sentences already handed out to her, Buenoano would have to face a third trial, this time for the first-degree murder of her original partner, James Goodyear. Once again, she was found guilty, and her punishment was even more severe. On November the 26th, 1985, Judy Buenoano was sentenced to death.
Judy's crimes were cold, calculated, and premeditated. Those are the kinds of murders in the state of Florida that cry out for the death penalty. The death penalty is designed for people like Judy.
On March 30th, 1998, Judy Buenoano was executed via the electric chair in Florida State Prison. She was 54 years old.
At the time of Judy's execution, it was quite a big event in the state of Florida because it had been decades since a woman was sentenced to death.
She died without ever saying anything at all, apologizing or admitting anything. She took it all with her, and I can't imagine what she was even thinking at the end. Why are they doing this to me? I didn't do anything wrong.
She really got what she deserved. I knew they were trying to say that when she was in jail, that she had found this religion and that religion, and she was helping, and she'd gone to school and got a degree in this and a degree in that. You know, that's all fine and good, but, you know, you got to look back at what she did, especially to her own son.
Judy Buenoano was a cold, calculating killer who planned her murders meticulously for years. She ruthlessly destroyed the lives of those who loved and trusted her for her own selfish financial gain, making Judy Buenoano one of the world's most evil killers.
I didn't say when I was a little girl that I hoped to grow up one day and have a serial killer for a brother. I didn't want that. That's not the life I had hoped for. I just cannot believe that someone I loved so much and had such a piece of my heart could do something so vile. I think I just never wanted to see my brother as that type of monster.
I tied the mom up, and then I tied the little girl up. I put a chair in the bathroom, and then I put the girl in the chair and tied her to it. I went back to the lady, and I had sex with her. I cut the cord off the coffee pot and tied it around her neck after I choked her with my hands. This just shows how horrible this case was and how brutal, just brutal. There's quite a bit of blood in there. You can tell that she'd been hit in the head several times, and she had blood streaming down her face and her hair. And when I started to take the photograph, she kind of turned and looked up at me. It's kind of like seeing someone rise from the dead.
I think the details of that day are just engraved in me and part of me. I don't know how I survived something like that. It's amazing that I was able to pull through that. Can I have a minute? This is from a scrapbook that I made for Jack. This is one of my favorite pictures because when we were younger, we would go to this amusement park and it had rides and carnival games, and Jack figured out how to win one of the games. And once he figured it out, he won us both these big bears and all these things, and he was just so happy. Yeah, that's the brother I remember right there. As us having the fun and laughing and smiling. Very sweet. This was just a special time of him just truly being a kid before the bad things started to happen. There has been times when I felt like I just can't do it anymore. I can't hear one more story. I can't see one more picture. I can't hear one more horrible thing said about my family or my brother. We grew up in a family of 7. I am the youngest of children, and Jack was my older brother by about 1.5 years. When we were little, Jack was truly my best friend because we were so close in age, and my brothers and sisters were so much older that we did everything together. When Jack was younger, he fit in just like the rest of us. But he did have some, emotional issues, and so sometimes he would get angry. There were times when you just didn't know if you were getting the good side of Jack or the bad side of Jack. When he was mad, and he didn't look like himself.
Give me the remote.
Come on, Jack, there's only 10 minutes left.
His eyes would just get hollow. He'd get quiet. It's like the calm before the storm. And his fits of rage were fits of rage. Like, they always involved violence, whether he was hitting my dad, hitting my mom, hitting me, throwing someone up against a wall. It was scary. Jack got in trouble a lot. The cops were called to our house a lot of times. I started seeing Jack do violent things to animals. I started noticing Jack doing drugs. I remember the police took Jack away and sent him to a youth facility. His anger just kept continuing to grow. I don't think Jack was evil. I think Jack had deep, dark issues that caused him to do what he did. He didn't get specific on what was tormenting him, but he would say that things happened in his childhood and things happened and he couldn't escape it. I think he did evil things. It's going to be very hard for me to say that my brother was evil, but he did do evil things.
This just shows how horrible this case was and how brutal, just brutal. I still have trouble comprehending how any human being could do that to another human being. It's almost like, being there again, even though it was 25 years ago. This whole case began shortly after midnight on June the 7th, when a White County deputy received a call about a missing person. Mary Phelps worked at this accounting place in Ball Knob, so the deputy drove to that accounting place. When he arrived there, he saw her pickup parked in front of the building. At that point, I think he just got a gut feeling that, hey, this may not end well. You got a mother and daughter that haven't been seen or heard from since 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Here it is, 1 o'clock in the next morning. So the red flags are waving, so to speak. This one deputy went in and checked the lobby or the outer area. He could see Mary's body in there. He immediately shut the door, came back out and said, hey, we've got a homicide. I was at home. Of course, it was about 3:45 in the morning, and they contacted me and requested me to go down there to work the crime scene. As an investigator, I've always kind of had a habit of going in, and when I go in and start taking photographs, I observed her body lying on the floor. Her hands were tied behind her, and she had a white electrical cord around her neck, and she was nude from the waist down. I assumed at that time that it was a rape and a homicide. You get used to seeing different types of crimes, and I had seen several of them. I've seen a lot of really brutal crimes, but yeah, this one it was different. One of the other investigators that was there with me opened the door to the bathroom. And at that point, he said, the young girl is in here. When I opened the door, I could see her, in the chair, kind of slumped over. There was quite a bit of blood in there. You could tell that she'd been hit in the head several times. And she had blood streaming down her face and her hair. I assumed that she was dead at that point. And I was taking a photograph, and when I started to take the photograph, she kind of turned and looked up at me. She was a shock, a real shock. You can imagine, it's kind of like seeing someone rise from the dead. Well, immediately I told the other officers that we need to get an ambulance down there, that she was still alive.
I don't know how I survived something like that. Wasn't my time. It took a few times after I heard the clicking noise to realize what it was. I wanted to move, but my body just wouldn't let me move. And so then I just stopped and listened. And then that's when I told myself that clicking noise. I said, is someone taking a picture? I turned my head, and when I did, someone said, this one's alive. And I just sat there for a second. And I said, can you untie me, please? I have a scar that starts on the side of my face here, and it goes all the way up through my hair, and these are the scars that are left on my forehead here. I have one that goes all through my hairline, and then I have a real big indentation right here in my skull.
Do you know how long you were in that building by yourself?
No, I've never added up how long.
It's about 12 hours.
Really? Wow. Didn't know that. No, it's amazing that I was able to pull through that. Can I have a minute? Okay. There's one more.
When I took the photo, she kind of turned her head to the left and looked up at me. It was just a photo of, her face and her eye. Her hands are bound behind her back and tied to a chair. I was telling her what I was going to do. I told her I was going to cut the wires loose and cut her loose and get her out of there and take her to the hospital. She asked about her mom, and I told her that it just didn't need to worry about her mom, just need to worry about her right now. And I told her, you know, if you would, just keep your eyes closed and hold tight to me. And so that's what we did.
What are you thinking about right now?
Well, the whole thing. And how it went down and what a brave girl she was.
I'm standing at that point and he kind of interlocks his arm with mine and he walks me out of the bathroom and Mom was laying in the floor and I had to step over her foot to get over her. It never registered that she was dead. I don't know. God let me get through that point. And then the ambulance showed up and they put me in the ambulance. I don't remember anything else until I woke up from Children's Hospital and I was in ICU. They asked me to tell my story as to what happened. I think the details of that day are just engraved in me and part of me. There's the details that I do remember will always be with me, the words, everything. I was at work with my mom, and at some point a man came walking in the door. He came in, and he walked in front of the desk, so Mom and I kind of both just stepped back, and he pulled out his gun. He told her to lay flat on the ground. He went to the bathroom and got a chair, a little metal chair, and he told me to sit in it. So I sat in it, and he tied both my arms to the chair behind my back. And I said, "Don't hurt my mama." And he said, "I'm not going to hurt your mama, I'm going to hurt you." And that's when he got the butt of his gun and started beating me. And I guess I passed out. And when I came to, I'm just looking all around and there's just blood absolutely everywhere. So I start yelling for Mom. And he came back in there. Then he strangled me and I passed out again. I remember people kept asking me questions and I was answering them, but I kept saying, "Where's my mom? Is my mom okay? And they would never answer me. They asked me, who did it? And I do remember them asking me about him, and I told them specifically from the head to the toes, everything he was wearing, what he looked like, how long his hair was. And then I believe his eyes were brown, and then he had a teardrop tattoo on his face. That I will always remember.
On the way over here this morning, I was thinking about this case. I've got a 11-year-old granddaughter that I picked up last night after church, took her home. And I was thinking, that's the age Lacey was when she was tied in that chair and beaten while her mother was dead or dying in the next room. I can't get my brain to go where Lacey's brain was that day. It's hard to imagine. Lacey was able to tell the deputy that the guy that beat her, tied her to the chair and beat her, had a tattoo on his arm and a tattoo of a turned out to be a teardrop under one of his eyes. When that information kind of hit the airways among law enforcement, Ball Knob officer knew from the description that this was going to be Jack Jones. Anytime you're approaching a suspect, you're thinking, what approach did I use to get this guy to talk to me about this crime? You think, how are we going to do this? But when I walked in, Jones just talked. He was just, matter of fact, as I recall, just telling his story. This is the typed version of the interview of suspect Jack Jones that I when I interviewed him on June the 7th, 1995. I tied the mom up, and then I tied the little girl up. I put a chair in the bathroom, and then I put the girl in the chair and tied her to it. I went back to the lady, and I pulled her pants and panties off, and I had sex with her. I cut the cord off the coffee pot and tied it around her neck after I choked her with my hands. I went back to the bathroom and I hit the girl on the head with the pistol because I wanted to get revenge against the police because my wife had been raped and nothing had been done about it. The rapist is still walking the streets. Apparently an incident had happened with his wife and another guy, and the Ball Knob Police Department, in his words, did not done anything about it. He wasn't satisfied with what they'd done. In reality, the wife just wanted to let it die, and she just didn't want to pursue charges. I guess he thought that if he'd been done wrong, well, that justified him doing wrong to somebody else, you know.
This man right here didn't do his job.
I told him to do his job and get that boy in jail, or I was going to have something happen. They didn't listen.
That was his justification. This is a random deal. Jack Jones's first contact with Mary was the day he killed her. This was a revenge against the Ball Knob Police Department. That was his reasoning.
I've been trying to make sense of how Jack could go from my fun-loving best friend as a kid to the murderer that he became. I just cannot believe that someone I loved so much and had such a piece of my heart could do something so vile. It was unforgivable in my mind that I could come from the same line of blood as someone so evil to do that. And I couldn't understand why. Couldn't understand why you could do something so hurtful. It was devastating. To this day, I just still don't understand. Just don't understand.
While I was in the hospital, my whole room was just full of balloons and stuffed animals, and, you know, we always had visitors. I really thought that maybe Mom was in the hospital too, and that, you know, maybe she had got hurt. And so I just remember looking around, and a nurse came walking up and asked me how I was doing. And I said, oh, where's my mom? I want to see my mom. And she's, okay, and she walks out and another nurse comes in. I want to see my mom. Why do you keep sending other people in? Or why can't she come in with you? I just wanted my mama. And it probably seemed like it was forever, but I sat in there and just waited. Well, then a couple nurses came in, a couple more nurses, and then Dad came in. I remember looking at him. I remember looking at him and thinking, God, you look horrible. Like he looked so tired and sad. And I was like, oh my goodness, it kind of broke my heart, and I didn't say anything, but I just, I didn't understand. And he got down on his knees and kind of put his arms on me, and he said, I just wanted to tell you that Mom is in heaven with Great Grandma. And I just looked at him, and of course people are crying, and I said, okay. And that's all I said. That picture just makes me feel, it just makes me feel kind of like I did when I saw him in real life. Just seeing that face just makes me feel kind of like a scared little kid again. When I see that face in that picture, I see him, I have flashbacks of him yelling and just screaming at me. And I think, how dare you? How dare you?
He's admitted he did it. He just said I was crazy at the time I did it. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just an old policeman. But, he knew he was doing wrong, in my opinion. He knew he was doing the wrong thing when he did it. I didn't buy it. Jury didn't buy it. That's the main thing. The jury did not buy it.
I hated him so much. I didn't even want to speak his name anymore. My brothers and sisters never wanted to talk about it. They disowned him immediately. His friends disowned him immediately. I mean, everyone. Just even my father and my mother. He had no one. And that's where my heart started to soften up and realize that I had to be there for him, regardless of what he did. My heart just kept going back to that little boy. I wondered where it was that caused him to become something other than what I remember. I was hurting. I was longing to have him back in my life. I can't explain it. I just didn't want him being alone. there was a phone call from the police. They proceeded to tell us that with the new DNA things going on, they were opening up cold cases, and a murder back in 1991 was traced back to Jack's DNA. I remember in 1991 coming home from work, and there was a story in the news about a young lady that was found dead in a hotel. Said that she was, strangled and raped. They had said that she was having a drink with a young man at the bar and was later seen with the same man going up an elevator. And they showed a composite picture. It was Jack. Like, it was him. His same hairstyle and eyes, and my heart just dropped. And I remember looking at my dad and he said, "Do not tell your mother." I didn't think in a million years that Jack actually did it. I just assumed that someone saw him there, but there was just no way my brother could do something like that to a woman. But the next thing I know, my father told me that he stuck Jack on a bus and sent him to go to Arkansas. After my dad told me he sent Jack away, it was just, "We will not speak of this again." And when my dad would say that, the look in his eye was, "You do not talk about it." So I never questioned it. I think in my heart of hearts, I wanted to believe that it wasn't true. Back then, I was not at a point in my life where I would think that Jack would ever cause that type of harm to a woman. Once I knew for a fact that Jack did it, when it was proven that Jack did it, I think right away my brain automatically went to, wow, there could be more. He was capable of doing too. Is there others that I just don't know about?
Did you ever think of him as a serial killer?
I think I just never wanted to see my brother as that type of monster. And I didn't want to think my brother was a serial killer. My brain went to the fact, what if he killed someone and the crime is unsolved? And there's parents out there wanting an answer. And I'm like, I gotta see him. I gotta see him. So I went to visit him. I wanted him to tell me the truth. Jack, if you've done something and it's an unsolved crime, how would you feel living all these years not knowing what happened to your loved one? Is that fair? If you are in here telling me you're trying to do things right, you're trying to do good, then doing good means coming clean. He said, yeah, there's another one. He didn't give me any details, and I didn't want to know him right then. He just said, I will write you a letter one day. You'll know that it's the letter because I'm going to address it. He always wrote sis on the envelopes. It'll say Sherilyn, which is my real name. He said, when you see that letter come, you know that that's it. This is the letter that Jack always told me was going to come eventually. I met her riding bikes. We went to the beach, rode around down there, and came back up and into the park, and that's where it happened. White girl, red hair, maybe 110 pounds, 5'5". I believe she was found the next day or the following evening. There was a story in the newspaper. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that what I was reading was actually true. It was his confession to the murder of Regina Harrison. I went ahead and reached out to the detective. They were able to open up the case again with the advancements of the DNA system, and it was 100% match to Jack.
You know, just at a glance, it just looks like anybody else walking down the street. But you can't tell by looking at the outside what's going on the inside. And he had some bad stuff going on the inside. We put him away for killing Mary Phillips and nearly killing Lacey. But on top of that, he killed 2 other people. So that's several layers laying on Jack. 3 people dead and 3 families decimated.
I wanted to see it happen to make sure it was done. You go 20-something years hearing that it's going to happen, and it never does. I've been this whole time without my mom, and by golly, I wanted to make sure it was done. They gave Jack an opportunity to have any final words, and then he chose to speak.
The only thing I want to say is that, I apologize. And I know that's means nothing. It doesn't replace personal.
He said something that I feel is absolutely disgusting, but he said, Lacey, I looked at you like a daughter. And I'm sorry I hurt you. I mean, that is so weird for him to say that. What do you mean you looked at me like a daughter? You tried to kill me and you haven't seen me since. You thought you murdered me. And I felt personally that was just a sick and twisted way to hurt my feelings.
If this is what's meant to be, then I accept it. I own it. So, I'll take the punishment.
But my love for my mother, my respect, my memories will always be there. And he can never take that away from me.
Do you feel guilt about not calling the police after you saw that news report?
Back in 1991, I saw the composite sketch that day. And if I would have said something to the authorities and turned my own brother in, the murder in Arkansas in 1995 would have never happened. If I would have said something, Mary would still be here. My brain never went there. My brain was, here's this troubled boy. In my heart, I couldn't fathom that he could do it. What is Lacey gonna think of me? I could have saved her mom. How do you live with that?
I've rehearsed in my mind and in my journals for years. Just something I could say to Lacey. And every time I try to write something or think of something, it just sounds so awful coming off my tongue. How dare I? I'm so sorry that he took away so much from her. I didn't say when I was a little girl that I hoped to grow up one day and have a serial killer for a brother. I I didn't want that. That's not what I want. That's not the life I had hoped for. This is the life I was handed. I did the best with it as I could. And as angry as I was with him, I just couldn't walk away from it in the end. But I do pray that Lacey has found some peace in Jack's death.
Did any of those family members ever try to apologize or reach out to you?
Jack has a sister that tried to reach out to me. I just was at a point where I didn't need that. I didn't have to talk to her, or I didn't need that apology from her, you know. I didn't have the time for that in my life. When I think about the whole situation as a whole from 1995 till this day, it's still such an overwhelming process that I've been through. And I'm not haunted by it, but I'm reminded. You know, every time I look in the mirror, I'm reminded it's never going to go away. You know, I miss having a mom. She was taken away so soon that I feel like I've just missed out on so much. Her smile would light up the room, you know, and her words, her actions. I just felt like it wasn't fair that she wasn't there to be with us. But it's kind of what I've just had to live with. So, you know, you live the life you're given and you do it to the best of your ability. I kind of feel proud that even though it was only 11 years, you know, I'm proud that I did have her as a mom. And now I have the opportunity to be a good mother to my daughter. She was proud of me. She was very proud of me. And if she were here today, I hope she would still be proud of me.